your toddler is surviving on milk and crackers while you're lying awake at 2 a.m. Googling, "Is my child malnourished?" I need you to take a deep breath. Because what I'm about to share might be the most freeing thing you'll hear today. Your picky toddler isn't broken, and neither is your parenting. So today, I'm walking you through the 5 essential signs that your toddler's picky eating is actually normal, even when it feels anything but. These 5 reassuring truths include understanding why toddlers become food warriors between ages 2 and 4, the surprising growth facts that explain their bird-like appetites, how genetics shape their taste buds more than your cooking, why their milk and crackers only phase might be protecting them, and the specific red flags that tell you when it's time to get help versus when to relax. The first thing you should do is understand what's happening in your toddler's brain. You know how frustrating it is when your 2-year-old refuses that same sweet potato they devoured last week? Well, researchers at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia discovered something fascinating. Between ages 2 and 4, children develop what they call a protective neophobia. Basically, Mother Nature installed a safety feature in our babies. Think about it. This is the age when toddlers start wandering, touching everything, putting random objects in their mouths. Their sudden wariness of new foods? That's actually their brain trying to keep them safe from potentially harmful things. Dr. Katherine Dahlsgaard, who runs the Picky Eaters Clinic at CHOP, puts it perfectly. Nature has instilled in them a wary sense that says, "This is a new food and I won't like it." But here's what shocked me even more. A 2024 study from University College London found that picky eating is up to 70% genetic. Let me say that again, 70%. So when your mother-in-law suggests you're not trying hard enough, you can confidently tell her that science says otherwise. The researchers studied over 2,000 pairs of twins and found that identical twins were far more likely to share picky eating habits than non-identical twins. This means your child might literally have come into this world with taste buds that are more sensitive, more cautious, more particular. And you know what? That's not a flaw to fix. It's just who they are. Next, you need to know why your toddler seems to live on air. I remember when my neighbor's daughter went from eating everything to surviving on what seemed like 3 goldfish crackers a day. Her mother was beside herself. But here's what pediatricians from the Canadian Pediatric Society want you to understand. During the first year of life, babies gain about 15 pounds. But between ages 1 and 5, they only gain 4 to 5 pounds per year. That's right. Your toddler's appetite isn't broken. Their body just doesn't need as much fuel as it used to. In fact, research shows that toddlers can go 3 to 4 months without any significant weight gain and be perfectly healthy. Their little bodies are incredibly good at self-regulating. When parents in one study tracked what their toddlers ate over an entire week instead of focusing on each meal, they discovered something remarkable. Even the pickiest eaters were getting adequate nutrition when you looked at the bigger picture. The children who seemed to eat nothing were actually consuming enough calories and nutrients across multiple days, just not in the neat 3 meals a day pattern we expect. The third strategy is to recognize normal picky eating versus concerning patterns. Now, I know you're thinking, but Sarah, my child literally only drinks milk. I hear you, and you're not alone. Kids Eat in Color found that many toddlers go through phases where they seem to exist on just milk, and here's why. Milk is predictable, comforting, and doesn't require chewing. For a sensitive child, that's the food equivalent of a security blanket. The key is understanding portion sizes. A toddler's stomach is only about the size of their fist. Harvard researchers found that parents consistently overestimate how much their toddlers need to eat. One study showed parents expected their toddlers to eat adult-sized portions, when actually a serving of protein for a 2-year-old is just 2 tablespoons. That's smaller than a golf ball. Your fourth step is learning when to step back and when to step in. Here's what every parent of a milk and crackers toddler needs to know. According to research from Harvard Medical School, forcing or pressuring children to eat actually makes picky eating worse. The study found that children whose parents were strict about food or demanded clean plates were more likely to become picky eaters, not less. It's like quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Instead, researchers recommend something called the division of responsibility. You decide what food to offer and when. Your child decides whether to eat and how much. One mother I know started doing this with her extremely picky 3-year-old. She stopped the battles, stopped the bargaining, just put food on the table, including one thing she knew he'd eat. Within 2 months, without any pressure, he started trying new foods on his own. Not because she forced him, but because she gave him the space to be curious. I saved the most powerful for last, because this completely changed how I think about helping picky eaters. Multiple studies, including one with over 300 preschoolers in Taiwan, found that 54% of children were identified as picky eaters by their parents. But here's the crucial part. The vast majority of these children were growing normally. The researchers found no significant difference in height or weight between picky and non-picky eaters. However, and this is important, there are times when you need professional help. The experts at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia say to seek help if your child is eating fewer than 20 foods total, has dropped foods they used to love and won't pick them back up, seems distressed or anxious around food, or if you're spending hours trying to find the right brand or preparing multiple meals. These could be signs of something called ARFID, Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder, which affects about 3% of children and does need specialized support. Now that you understand why your picky toddler's behavior might actually be protecting them, let me share something that might surprise you. Research published in Pediatrics followed picky eaters for years and found that most naturally expand their food choices as they enter school age. The social pressure of eating with peers, combined with their maturing taste buds and decreased food neophobia, means that child who lives on milk and crackers at age 2 might be the one asking for sushi at age 7. Remember when I mentioned that mother whose 3-year-old only ate crackers? By age 5, without any special interventions beyond patience and continued food exposure, he was eating from all food groups. Not because she won the food battle, but because she stopped fighting it. Your toddler's relationship with food is a journey, not a destination. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is trust their little body to know what it needs while you provide the opportunities for growth. Because here's what I know for sure. That child surviving on milk and crackers, they're not broken. They're just figuring out this big world one safe bite at a time. The fact that you're worried enough to watch this video tells me you're exactly the parent your child needs. Trust yourself, trust the process, and remember, this phase will pass. If you're ready for specific strategies to gently expand your picky eater's palate without battles or tears, I've created a guide with 10 simple food activities that have helped hundreds of parents. It includes my milk weaning protocol for toddlers stuck on bottles and exact scripts for handling mealtime meltdowns. Just check the link below to grab your copy and finally bring some peace back to your dinner table.